to sustain
I
it.
know. You guys are staying hot, 5 in a row. It's starting to come together.
Trying. It's you know, like anybody else, particularly this time of year, it's a matter of growth and chemistry and all the things that coaches want to see. You know you're not nearly where you want to be or hopefully going to be, but showing progress, particularly for us, and this season versus what we've been through is really important because made a concerted effort to get better people and more talent and all those things. So when you can see it start to look like something that's positive, it makes you feel better.
What kind of confidence has it given this group as they come together? I mean, longest winning streak that they've been a part of.
Yeah, and we've been through some things, and so that becomes something to grab hold of and grow from. But I've said this from day one that I really like this group. I enjoy being in the gym and being around them every day, and I think they feel the same way about each other, and so it makes growth a little bit more palatable and hopefully sustainable.
You look at this Northwestern team, obviously they return a lot of guys who went through some pretty powerful experiences themselves last year to kind of bring them together. What do you see as the biggest challenges?
Well, you look at any team you compete against and strengths and weaknesses, and they check off a lot of boxes, that have them in the position that they're in. And they did some amazing things, and there's some watershed moments you have to go through to be in the position that they're in. And I go back to the Michigan game last year, and points where you either could go one way or another, and they fought and found ways through to do that. So when you use that as a basis for success, that's something that you can lean on. Coupled with the fact that you got really good talent, and experience, and then they've been through some highs. The beginning of the season wasn't great for them. You go back to the Texas Tech game, and I think it was a little bit of a wake-up call to get past what had happened last year. If there was any slippage by anybody, not even just the team, but those around them, and now they've refocused themselves and are playing tremendous basketball.
Well, that being said, what would a win against them mean for your
Well, I think, for a lot of reasons, we see games as growth, and every game, but this game because it's a local rival and because they have established themselves, and Chris's fourth year is a really good Big Ten team and a nationally recognized team. And so, for us, it's an opportunity. We've had a rough schedule thus far where we've had some opportunities, and this is just another one. And hopefully, if we can do that, particularly at home, it tells people outside of our locker room a little bit more of the direction that we think we can head in.
Rivalry games are always fun for the fans. Do you want your guys to get kind of revved up on the thought of it's a rivalry game, or do you want them to kind of keep course?
Well, I think you do naturally get a little bit of both. The game settles in, so you understand you just have to play the game, regardless of what's going on around you, the hoopla or fan interest, those kind of things. But at the same point in time, I think we'd all be foolish to think that there's not something a little bit more to it because we are next door to each other, and a lot of guys have competed against each other and may know each other, those kind of things. So it adds a little bit to it. And from a fan's perspective, I think we talk all year long, all of us coaches, about the importance of raising the level of interest in college basketball in Chicago, and a game like this does that.
How difficult has it been to replace Devin with him going on with that injury from your starting lineup in the rotation?
It's not just that position because Eli has moved to play that position more, and what he goes through in terms of when do I score, when do I distribute, but then Max takes on a different role, and the front court guys take on a different role because they're either playing more minutes or playing alongside a guy that they would naturally play in front of or behind. So team-wise, we've had to make some adjustments, and anytime that position goes down, that's a pretty, it's a little bit of a quarterback deal in football. So, we're trying to do our best to make up for it. Eli's done an admirable job. He's on the season 40 assists and I think only 11 turnovers. So a 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio for a guy that doesn't play that position naturally is really admirable.
You mentioned the schedule, the early schedule, some tough challenges. How do you think that has prepared you for a tournament team like you see in Northwestern?
You know what? I can always answer that after the game, but I think you know, in preparation, we know we've been in, you know, some pretty tough situations thus far to open up the season here with Notre Dame, and you know, to go on the road already. You know, we'd like to think going on the road to Illinois was a difficult proposition, as was being in Portland and playing both Portland and Oregon. So we feel like we've played, you know, in a lot of different environments, and I think again the bright spot for this team is that win or lose, we've competed at a pretty significant level. Without being what we think we're going to be. So if we look at it optimistically, you know, a game like this could, you know, be not only just a part of that, but a next step, hopefully, in a process that we're going through.
And how important is it to let folks in Chicago know that you're here? You know, it's kind of weird that Northwestern's at All-State, you're here,
Yeah, how
and
about
then
that?
get some folks in the seats in here.
Yeah, that is a different thing. But you know, I think and I think the formula is really simplistic. You know, to have big games in this arena, draw interest in more than the fans that are of your school or your opponent's school. It draws some interest in a casual sports fan or a basketball fan, and to be able to do that and come here and see a great game, have a great fan experience, only allows them to come back and also tell people about it. And so I think the location of the game and what can happen is really important, you know, for both programs, but particularly where we're at.
You're coming to the end of non-conference play right now. What do you like about what your team's doing, and where do they need to get better?
You know, I like the fact that, you know, as again, I look to the teams that we've played, and we kind of start off a little bit slow in some areas, but our field goal percentage has dropped, you know, pretty significantly, and so the consistency that I think they're paying attention to the details on that side of the ball has been much better. You know, I think our camaraderie and our chemistry and our collective want to do the right thing is growing. I said at the very outset that what I thought we'd be much better offensively, and the stats didn't prove it out. And we weren't shooting the ball well and scoring the ball as well, and we've started to get better. And that was, you know, something I wasn't really concerned about, but it was on my mind. And so, you know, you put those things together, and I think the thing that I'd like to see now is that it all starts to look the way we want it to look, and then you can kind of go from there in terms of areas that, you know, game by game or week by week you want to get better at.
Is Martin going to play tomorrow, Coach?
You know, he's been practicing a little bit, so we'll see what he looks like today. And you know, when you get injured and there is no, you know, day-to-day timetable or week-to-week timetable, you just kind of take it as it goes. So I leave that in the hands of our medical people.
Thank you.
Thank you.